Hello.
And we're live. Welcome.
We're here. Before we even jump into this, going to apologize. We're having some technical difficulties today that are causing a little bit of lag. We apologize for that. We're going to be working on it. By we, I mean Brent, the amazing chef Brent, our producer, is going to be working on it in the background, and hopefully we'll get it sorted. But just wanted to say we know it's happening, and we're sorry. I know we always think the lag is us. This case, it's not. They need like a site. It's like lagging for everybody or just me. You know, there's like that down for everyone or just me. You can like check things on the internet.
Oh yeah, I used to do that a ton with earthquakes in the Bay. And even like I was just like, wait, did I just experience this? Or it was like the shared conversations around like, no, everyone's experienced this thing. So yes, keep us posted. But you know, what is it? Mercury was in Gatorade, and then
retrograde.
Yeah. And then
retrograde.
Yeah, and then like so there, you know, we're just gonna go with the flow today. And also, I mean, this is also an example, like things happen, life happens, and we're gonna roll with it. But yeah, okay, so this is stream number 8.
8.
Yeah, 8 feels like a cool number. You know what I mean? Like 8 is like, whoa.
It's like sideways infinity. Is that why?
Yeah, you know, good tattoo energy. You know, you get a tattoo. You know.
Oh no, are we getting A/B testing tattoos?
Oh my gosh.
I don't have any tattoos. That would be my first, but
I know, same. So then I feel like, wow, would I really get? I was like, wow, that'd be intense. We could do not press on tattoos. You don't call it press on.
The temporary tattoos.
Temp tattoos. Yeah. So maybe we could have like temp tattoos that are like A/B testing and like, you know, hashtag that, and we'll send a packet to the stream crew. So stream crew, you might get some A/B tats that we haven't even created yet, that we're just discussing
with the logo that we haven't made and all the graphics that we haven't made
at all. Just it's in our hearts, and you know, we'll take your suggestions. Okay, so stream 8, 8 streams. Yeah. So we did it.
Great 8.
Great 8. I don't have a stream jingle for 8 just yet. I was feeling very Christmassy, so I threw in some Christmas stuff, and then you're like,
it did snow here like 2 days ago. So.
Okay. So that's a thing. And then, you know, we might have some like Passover tunes. I didn't create my song yet, but got you, because we're, you know, all the things.
We do have a special guest coming on today.
Okay, so we have something that's and like
maybe she'll have a song for us. I'm putting her on the spot for that one, but
okay. So we have a special guest. Very excited about this special guest. I also think it's cool for, you know, just us to connect with different people on our team. And our next guest is really awesome, Kaelyn. So there she is. So yeah, we're super excited. Hello.
Aww. Hello.
Cool. All right. So Kaelyn, thank you so much for joining us. I guess you can kind of let folks know, like, who are you? What is your name? Like, where like, what is your thing? You know, definitely introduce yourself so folks get a sense of who you are and things like that. But we have some questions, because we'll dig a little deeper.
All right, audience. Hey, my name is Kaelyn. I'm a developer evangelist. So I'm on the evangelism team with Alex and Bianca. I'm their special guest today. No song just yet. 8 is great, and y'all are some cool mates. I don't know. Is that how the jingles usually go?
It works.
That's everything that we've ever wanted. Kaelyn, thank you so much for that. You got it.
What else rhymes with 8?
Great. Mate, you got both of those.
Golden Tate. He's a good football player.
Yeah. Hopefully we didn't start streaming too late.
That was really good.
All the things. Okay, so where you people like to know like locations, like where you calling in from? Is that like where you're from? Like what? Yeah, if we were to kind of get to know you a bit more beyond kind of the title, what should we know?
Word. Thank you for feeding me. This is the first time I've ever been on a Twitch stream, so I'm kind of nervous and also honored to be on A/B testing for the first stream. But yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, although I'm from the East Coast, so New York, do or die. I still have my New York license plate, even though I've been here for a year. That's like my vanity plate. What else? I'm talking about the Voice SDK today.
Okay.
Nice.
And dang it, what was the last question?
Yeah, no, I think you kind of answered the questions. Yeah, Alex, anything that you're curious about?
I'm so curious about so many things because you're a fun and fascinating person. But I want to start with at Twilio, you're on the evangelism team, and specifically you work with voice, like that's your thing. Can you tell us a little bit about more of kind of what that entails and how you fell into, because I don't think you got like hired as like the voice person, but like now you are, now that it's so like, what does that mean and how did it happen?
It was actually pretty funny. I mean, one day my manager at the time, Alina, was like, "Hey, do you like voice?" And I'm like, "Yeah, voice is a cool product. It's pretty expansive. Let's do this." And he's like, "Well, would you like to own that product?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah." And now I'm
I still hear your voice. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So that's kind of how you got pulled into voice. I think for you, how do you feel like just working on voice connected to maybe some of your just general interest, right? Like within development or things like that. Yeah. Would be curious to kind of hear a bit more about that.
No, I love the voice product. So I feel like for a while, voice was one of the first APIs that Twilio introduced. And so everybody was, you can make a phone call. But now voice has evolved so much, beyond that with the introduction of AI. So now, we have voice intelligence, we have, just anything AI empowered with voice, IVR, adding AI to IVR and stuff like that, building those golden profiles. I mean, it's really exciting to be in voice nowadays. I didn't know that voice could be so exciting, but here we are.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, IVR is like the thing where it's called interactive voice response. And it's the thing where it's like, push one for this, push one or say this. It's like the dynamic menus on a screen. So that's kind of fun because you joined, I think you a little after us, about 2 years ago. Yeah. And it was like right before AI was like as exciting as it is right now. So like you kind of fell into that. So that's super cool. And then also I feel like we on the team have made a bigger push towards voice because it's easier to get started with voice than it is with messaging these days with some of the regulation things. So that kind of makes you people's first point of contact all of a sudden, which is exciting.
Yes, it's funny because we had like a 5-minute demothon and everything was sort of like voice centric because it's so much easier to get started. I mean, with A2P 10DLC, I'm sure anybody who's in the industry knows that, trying to get that registration and getting their tax ID number to be verified, it's a process. I mean, I totally understand the need for it. I'm happy that they incorporated it because those spam calls, they were getting rough.
Yeah.
They were getting so rough. But
no, yeah. Oh no, you're good. Okay.
A little bit. Sorry, y'all.
No, you're good.
It might be on my end.
We told folks we're just going with it today. So I guess you kind of mentioned this aspect of getting started, right? And I'm also a little curious about even your kind of easy to get started, but even just like your personal origins, right? Like your origin story relative to tech. And then we can even talk about even at Twilio. But I think I would just be a little bit curious to learn more about like, yeah, what's Kaelyn's origin story as it relates to tech?
Sorry, I want to see who's on the call. Like, how deep into the story can I go? Are there
You
any
can go
managers
as
on the call?
deep as you want. I don't think we got any managers now. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
They could watch the recording, but for now, you're fine.
Nah, yeah. It's funny. I think Alex, I would have told you this story, but I got into tech on a dare. So, you know, I had just graduated college. I had a physics degree, and I was like, I don't really want to go get my master's. I was done with school at that point. And so there was a coding boot camp program. And, you know, so my friend and I, we were chilling after college, taking a little gap year, not really doing much. And so our friends were like, hey, you know, if you complete this coding boot camp, we will help you guys, or not help, we will pay for you guys to take an international trip. So we were like, oh, so all we have to do is finish this coding boot camp and we get an international trip. All right. So we both did the boot camp. We both got tech jobs, and we never got a trip because we could afford a trip after that. It was a weird con to sort of get a job. Like, hey, you got the job now, so just pay for your own trip. So that's how I unintentionally got into tech. And then I became like a teacher at that coding boot camp for a while, which is how I got a lot of my fundamentals and a lot of that logic-based knowledge, you know, sort of jam-packed in. And went to be a cloud developer, and wham bam, I somehow made it over to Twilio. I saw a job posting. I was like, huh, this sounds fun. Developer evangelist, you know, what do we spread the word of tech? Which is kind of funny because that's really what we do. We go around and we spread Twilio love and knowledge.
No,
It is.
Yeah.
And I love it here. Gosh, this is such an awesome job.
Yeah, I know. Trying to explain to people what it means to be a developer evangelist is strange. I'm going to do a quick pause. We're going to do a quick be right back because our producer might have some fixes to make the lag go away. So we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll keep talking about what it means to us to be developer evangelists. And we're back. Hopefully it's a little better, but we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, Kaelyn, you were just saying how developer evangelist is such a funny job title, and it's like, what does that even mean?
Mhm.
I'm actually taking improv classes right now, and one of the prompts we did for a game in the class was like, somebody give us a job title that's just a little strange. Maybe you had it, maybe you didn't. And I'm like, well, my job right now is developer evangelist. And the person who went up there and evangelized development was just, it was so funny. So I feel like it's a strange title for sure, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun to be here.
Yeah, it's also, especially coming from like a, like a faith-based, background. It's like you're like, wait, you're spreading the good news about about Twilio. And it was just like, it was such a like, I was like, I guess, but it's so much more than that. And I think, even as you're mentioning kind of some of your work with voice SDK, it's like it goes so beyond that. So like I guess I'm also just a little curious too about what does that entail? So you're working on this like voice, like with voice, what does that look like for you? And yeah, just kind of, we could start there and just have more questions about just like your experience with voice, and what does that look like to kind of represent, that aspect.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because I mean that is what I do. I go around and I spread the voice, the word of voice. What are we doing? What's happening? People in the company are asking like, "Hey, what are some releases that are coming out? Hey, I need to get a quote from you about, what's going on in voice. Hey, I would like for you to join my Twitch stream and talk about voice." I mean, I go to conferences, I tell people about, how to implement Twilio, how to use the voice product to better their company. I go to hackathons, host hackathons, and what are we doing? Talking about voice in Twilio.
Okay.
I mean, it's a very appropriate title. I think it's just weird to hear it in that sense, like this is a job. This has nothing to do with church.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel that.
The voice does sound like it could be like a religious concept,
no.
right? It's like, we're hearing the voice.
No, I love it. I do wonder though, because like, so you said you're talking to all these audiences, and I guess to someone who might be like a startup founder, what, like, why are you telling them like voice is important? Or yeah, like what are the messages that you found that have kind of resonated for those folks? Or what are some of the problems that you're seeing them deal with? So whether it's a startup founder, a business, someone in business generally, right? Yeah. What's the conversation you'd notice that you would have with them?
That's a really good question. One, I want to think about that for a second because, now that we're making the switch to AI, we have a lot of chatbots that are sort of just ran programmatically in the back end and there's no human interaction involved. But, as humans, we still need that interpersonal connection, especially when we're trying to solve problems. So, I mean, even though voice may seem like obscure, like, you would probably text your friend before actually giving them a phone call nowadays. But when it comes to problem solving, troubleshooting, I mean, voice is still really prevalent. Relevant? Is prevalent a word? Am I just making up
prevalent works?
Prevalent?
You're good. We're good. You're good.
All right.
Yeah.
But, it's still here. It's still necessary. People still want to have, talk to an operator. I mean, how many times do you call, the phone company and you're like, I want to speak to someone. Something's wrong with my bill. And they're like, please, use some more words and we can connect you to the right person. It's like, no, I want to just speak to a person. Like there's no way that a business can just totally remove the person, from that interaction that they have. So voice is still 100% necessary for businesses.
I'm shaking my head in so many ways because I was having this conversation with we were having this conversation, Alex and I, and even this aspect of just like humans and like, we're still people, and that aspect of not like, just kind of, I think as I think about this more, even the space of not removing the humanity from the things that we do. And I do think like technology, yes, it's a force for all these things, but I do think there's an opportunity for us to like we can add back. I think about like cooking, right? You add a little salt back into the dish, like say you stripped away some flavors, but you add some things back. But I do think like there is an opportunity for us to bring it back. Like, where's the human aspect? So I love this kind of connection point of people are still desiring to talk to other people, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, nowadays, I mean, I feel like we're so isolated. I mean, maybe that might just be a post-COVID thing, but working from home, working remote, like we still crave that interaction, whether it be regarding help or just in regular day-to-day interactions. Like we still need that. We still need that as humans.
I definitely think so. And I think in some ways, voice is the one thing, and this is more getting
No, let's get into it.
theoretical, but like I think voice is the one thing that like has been squeezed out so much in the modern day, in that we text a lot, which is super great for like quick information, but like not a way to have a real conversation with somebody. And then on the other side, we do a lot of video chat, which can be really nice. And like with my daughter, like being able to video chat with like grandparents and things is like so great. It's such an amazing piece of technology. But sometimes when I'm trying to catch up with a friend and have a deep conversation, I feel like it can go deeper if it's just voice. I don't know what that is, but it feels like if I'm not face to face with them, the next best thing for me catching up with somebody is not worrying about what's looking on a screen, but just like hearing them. And I think that connection is pretty real and probably more prevalent than we realize in this day of like video chats are the primary way we connect.
Yeah. That's a really great point. Yeah, because even when you're driving, maybe you don't have the ability to give 100% of your focus to a conversation, but you still want to connect with them. Or maybe I don't know about you, but I'm very fidgety when I'm on the phone. So sometimes it's like I need to move around, lay about, change positions, and still keep that conversation going. Oh, thank you for saying that. That's almost like music to my ears. I felt like I was the only one a little bit.
Well, I think when like getting back to the Twilio side of things, it's so like we type things on computers and we're used to that interaction, and it's a lot easier to like program and code like a little bit of text than it is to like do the whole voice thing. So I think at Twilio we kind of got in this habit of like our demos are SMS based because it's just like an easier thing to show off or like an easier thing to program. And so but getting back into the voice side, especially with the new era of like AI, I think is really exciting. So I think you're in a really exciting place to lead that charge, Kaelyn.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it's also, I also even feel like it can be so underutilized. And I think that point that you brought about like Alex of it, like it can we veer, like we go into one versus another. We can go into these extremes, but kind of voice being this happy medium. And I think also just like a fun place for people to just like tinker with. And I do think sometimes folks are probably like, oh, well, voice only applies to these certain use cases. But I do think kind of like it'll be interesting to see like even the other use cases that folks aren't often thinking about. And I guess I'm also even curious about that. Like, are there exciting ways that you've seen, Kaelyn, like voice, kind of voice being used that people don't typically think of, right? Like there's probably just kind of the classic use cases, but I'm just curious kind of, yeah, what you've kind of seen that like, you're like, yes, I love how we're playing around with this.
As far as new use cases or interesting use cases, I can't think of any top of mind, but I can definitely go into how they're using,
Okay.
phone calls because, before whenever you had a phone call, let's say with the company, it would just be between, person A and person B. But now with the introduction of AI, they're able to turn that phone call into data. So instead of it just being like, hey, I need help with X, Y, or Z, now we're able to track and make sure that we're, taking note of what customers are having issues with.
Mhm.
So, we're able to sort of target issues a lot faster when it comes to troubleshooting in phone calls, especially when it comes to like more difficult issues. So, like, if you need to reset your password, you don't really need to speak to an agent about that. But if you are being charged a weird amount, maybe you want to speak to an agent about that. And all of that information can be categorized. And with categorization of issues brings trends. So it's like, now you can say like, oh, people in this region are running into this problem more. Maybe we need to put a little bit more effort into how we are explaining how to use a product in this area. And you can really just, extinguish fires before they become a lot larger. So it's like, just targeting solutions. And that's, to me, that's really impressive, because before, what were we doing before then with phone calls? Like, hey, this person is having an issue, but that it wasn't going much further beyond that. Besides, like maybe writing it in notes somewhere, but no, it's
Yeah,
really cool.
it reminds me a little bit of I remember, like, this is probably almost a decade ago now, like I think the guy's name was Tony Hsieh, the guy who started Zappos. Like, his book was like the thing, and one of the things that he did was all people at the company, including engineers, would have to go and answer phones, because a lot of time if you got an engineer answering a phone, they would almost just fix the problem because it was easier than dealing with the person or figuring anything else out. And I feel like what you're saying is, with this voice intelligence, we now give that power back to the company to do that without actually having to put engineers on the phone, because that can go both ways pretty hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even that aspect, I mean, while you were telling your story, I was just thinking recently, like, usually that follow-up is also, here, fill out a survey. And I'm like, you didn't solve the problem. And that survey is not going to be an authentic reflection. They'll be like, I was like, you're asking me for a survey after you have literally had me on hold for about an hour? So, like, kind of fix my problem. So even that aspect of data versus, getting insights from my voice of like, wow, this is an awfully long call. Or, oh, how many times did this person go, hey, I have this issue. I have this issue. Hey, like, and, or maybe, like, even just kind of stuff around like tone or things like that. Right. And I do think, is a survey often the best way to capture how I felt about something. And I do think there's like that richer information that we get in conversation. Like, in conversation, I can hear when someone's like, like, I could hear a different tone than versus if someone's like, hey, exclamation point. Hey, it can be like, hey, like there's multiple, like, there's multiple ways that hey can be via text message, but you're not going to know that, versus tone can kind of tell you a bit more of like, I think that was a very loud hey. I don't know that it was like a welcoming hey. So maybe this customer might be a little irritated or annoyed or frustrated. And so I think even this aspect of intelligence, and indulge me while I go on my little rift, because I love my little rift. But one thing that comes up is to truly engage with a customer, like, you have, like, really learning about your people in different ways. And I think about, like, companies like Twilio, that customer engagement platform, like, you really need to not just leverage one way to learn about a user, right? Like, text message is one aspect around the way you're building a relationship, but I'm pretty sure, Alex, you didn't like send your vows to your wife on text. Like, you kind of had to, you didn't go, hey, did you?
When I did propose, I did write it on a slate.
Okay.
I couldn't talk and I was underwawer. So,
okay. Damn. Well,
yeah,
usually that was a good example, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Well,
Sorry, you just found the one loophole, but you're right. I did not, like, at the wedding, I did not text my wife. I was there with her in person.
Yeah. So, like, and like, like navigating through stuff, like you're not only like I think about just like, talking to loved ones. I'm not only texting them. Like if our whole relationship was through text message, what would I really learn versus I've heard them speak. I've interacted with them in these other forms. So I think even just like as I'm thinking about this aspect of like, you know, voice as another layer in the conversation. So yeah, I don't know. That was interesting. And Alex, we discovered our edge cases here, because Alex did in fact use use text to kickstart. That's real. That's real. Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, never mind. Never mind.
But you even brought up a good point, Bianca. Like when it comes to feedback, I mean, when I think about Yelp reviews, how often do you see like a 2 or a 3-star Yelp review? Like, their feedback's still important, but no one's gonna write it when it's just okay. We still need that information, but you're either gonna get feedback if it's great or it's like just totally awful. So gathering data at all times, although sometimes it can sorry, that's a touchy subject for me, I think. Like, how far do we go when it comes to collecting information? If we could like sort of pivot into that really quickly. How do y'all feel about these advances in technology?
Drama.
As we talk on the Twilio Devs Twitch stream.
Drama. Not really drama.
I have thought about this a lot. So like I a few years ago went to grad school and studied robotics and AI and was working at a robotics company, and they were doing some really amazing stuff. And also there was some people we were talking to who like developed weapons, and I was like, I really don't want to do that. And like people in my grad programs were like making better missile guidance systems, and it was like, what are you doing? And so I saw both sides of it, and it's so hard because like the techno optimists are totally right, where like all this technology has the power to do amazing things, and yet we've seen a lot of that not come out. And then again, our lives are amazing. So it's like it kind of goes both ways. That's a really tough way to drop a bomb, Kaelyn. That's a really tough one. It is something that I think about a lot though, and it's even here at Twilio, like I'm glad that A2P happened because it stopped a lot of people doing like spam and scam texts, and like what can we do to make sure and try to like push the technology into positive ways, like you said. So we're using the tech to learn how to serve people better or to learn what's really going on, and we're not using it to find new ways to falsely influence them. But that's a good question.
Tough questions. I think like the beautiful thing is I don't ever want us as a society to stop innovating, right? Like I do think we should always push ourselves to see what's possible. But when we do see what's possible, we can step back and be like, ooh, that's, okay. If we linger here a little bit too much, or if we exploit this, and I think that's the aspect, right? Like if we start to push this a little too much, like this can kind of get a little shaky. And I do think, I always like to think about that aspect of like responsible innovation. And I don't necessarily think like responsible innovation means like we always have to be doing good or it's a nonprofit. I think as humans, we should have a personal compass. Maybe your company has its own kind of personal compass. Actually, I even think like we created like this AI nutrition sheets thing. But like you as an organization should understand, like, I am aware that I'm using this thing that is pretty powerful, but what are the guardrails that I'm creating for myself? But I do think like we should be able to hold power, hold information, but also hold like an awareness of society and our fellow neighbor, right? So I do think there is a balance around like push ourselves to see what things can do, but also, like
with great power.
With great resources. And I think we forgot about the responsibility part. I think in a pursuit of power, I think folks forgot this, like, power does lend itself to just additional responsibilities, and the responsibility may not always fall on the person, but like, as you know, as a person who is just like shifting society, like that's what I feel like technology does. It is, we are shifting society. We have literally like shifted how people interact with each other socially. Like, if you tell someone, like, even the concept of followers, like, what? That wasn't like, be my friend on Facebook. Can you be my friend in real life? Like, like, and so technology has literally shifted that aspect in that dynamic, which has introduced like really cool things, but also like, you know, then where do we talk about this concept of like loneliness, or who's responsible for that, right? Like, are these social dynamics, do we blame the technology? But I don't know. I think there's definitely a balance, and I don't know that I think technology in and of itself has also shifted. We went from this I think there was a deep era of consumer technology versus it was, prior to, it was like a very behind the scenes, like, it's the stuff you don't talk about. But now, like, it is in the forefront, and there is a level, I think, of responsibility that folks have to meet. Thank you for joining my little soapbox moment. This is that. I mean,
that was great. No, for real.
You're asking like a great question, and I think like, I'm also even curious, kind of even in chat, right? Like, how are folks thinking about this, like, responsible innovation? I know, even that seems very like intense, but like, what is the balance between that, like, power through technology, but also like, what do we do with all the data?
I know.
Like,
data.
Yeah, and Kaelyn, I'd love to hear your answer to your own question too.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oh, I wasn't. I'm just here to ask. Well, I guess I can't.
We're here to ask the questions.
Oh, that's a little hard because I struggle with, being okay with this new dynamic that we have. Like, whoever holds the most data holds the power. Are the people holding the data using it responsibly? I can't really say I do have a question, because I always wonder, like, if I'm wondering, hey, how far should technology go? That means that I should have some type of stopping point in my mind. Like, at what point in our society can we look back and say, all right, technology, you've done enough. Let's not proceed any further. Even when it comes to, like, the pursuit of happiness, at what point in life are we satisfied with our life and we can just look back and say, you know what? I'm doing a good job. I don't need to advance any further to try to pursue happiness. Like, when it comes to tech, how much further do we want to go? How much better can society improve with, technological advances? And I say that excluding the medical field, because I go crazy technology. We're using AI to find cures for cancer. So be it. Like, keep it going. But in other aspects, especially when it comes to consumerism and the evilness of the world, I don't know what is a good stopping point. But I know that's not what we're supposed to be talking about.
No, this is good. I feel like this is the best part of stream, because I mean, as you're talking, even that aspect of happiness, like, part of me is just like, I feel like technology tells us about ourselves, right? Like, is it that we don't even know a stopping point for tech because we don't even know a stopping point for ourselves? Like, when you said that aspect of personal happiness, like, do folks know, like, what is their own personal stopping point around joy, around happiness, around these kind of concepts? Because if you're looking at this like unlimited view and constantly pushing, you don't have necessarily like a goal, right? So I do think as you're introducing this aspect, it's like technology just shows us who we are. It's, we are still leading the charge in that, like, technology is only showing us like our deficiencies or the areas even within ourselves that we haven't asked the questions, right? Like, the computer software is not going to ask us all these philosophical questions. Well, I mean, now it can, but still, like, it's not going to ask us to dive deeper, and we should have a POV. So I do think maybe that aspect of we should have a POV independent of like even knowing what you're building before you build it. You should have a view, right? Like, and I don't know, I guess as I'm hearing you talk, that aspect of, you know, what if this is showing us that as humans we don't even know what our stopping ground is, like we haven't even created a line of anything. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Alex?
I totally agree, and I think, oh man, we're going deep here.
We are.
I think that the way that capitalism is set up right now, it doesn't have an endpoint, right? We kind of like really look up to people who make money just for the sake of making money, right? It doesn't totally make a difference in someone's like life as far as like what they can do if you have millions and millions of dollars or $1 billion, right? But yet we still pursue the more. So I think as a society, we haven't done a good job of knowing when the stopping point is. And that almost scares me more if, you know, looking at framing it from Kaelyn's point of, do we have a good stopping point, is like, we don't. Our culture doesn't have a good stopping point, and our like the capitalism doesn't really have a good stopping point, or even just, you know, handing someone an award and saying, hey, you've won, congratulations. Like that doesn't happen. So we always want more. There's always the next thing, and it almost makes it scarier with the tech when we're like, oh, we're always going to be looking for that next thing because it's not there. And then on the other side, you know, people get to choose, and to some extent, not always, sometimes the choices are made for them, but like hopefully people still get to choose what level of tech and what level of these things come into their life. Because I know plenty of people who, you know, aren't billionaires, aren't multimillionaires, and are still just like the happiest people ever. And so it's clearly the money and like the tech level are not related necessarily. And so hopefully all this tech still empowers each of us to be able to make our own decisions and have a little bit of our own choice and autonomy in how we participate and to what level we do.
Here's to knocking that those Black Mirror episodes do not come true.
Yes. I love it. And I love that we are even asking these questions, because I do think it creates space for other people to ask those questions. You know,
Talk about it.
Yeah, like I think even just having conversations, like we are all like, we are all like, we're building this as we go, right? Like we are literally building a world as we go. And I think every time folks might think like our contributions to the world feel so insignificant, like feel insignificant. And I think even as you're talking, it's like, no, like what is each and every one of our roles in this conversation around the world that we're building, the technologies that we're building. And I do think it's not just one person, we all come together. And I think that is, yes, that can sometimes feel very sad, but it's also kind of exciting that like, you know, we're building the future as we go, and there will be the folks that are like, I see where you're going with this. Great, let's stop here. And you know, even just like there might be the folks that are uneasy, and then I think about even on certain projects, there are the folks that are like, no, let's push this a little bit more. Like, let's see what this can create. And I think like we can still have that essence of curiosity, but I do think like in having these healthy tech ecosystems, right, that like they're different voices, we're able to kind of like build this together rather than it just being like, wow, this kind of sucks. See you later. Like, you know, see you on Twitch. Like, and I think sometimes people think like, you know, building a different future means like you have to go and like join these advocacy groups or like, no, it could just be on how your values show up on the tech you're building. And I think sometimes it doesn't have to be as like drastic as sometimes people think. Even you just asking this question, like, you know, like you're gonna spark a conversation. You sparked a conversation with us. I do think it'll spark a conversation with other people. So I do think like we can start to even just like be in dialogue. Look, voice, the voice, the
The
voice,
voice.
the
Using your
voices,
voices.
the voices.
And
Even
I
voice.
I know we had our good friend Craig in the chat a few moments ago. Kaelyn, you exercised your power of technology in a way that I've never seen people be able to do before, and you're one of the few people that I've seen be able to rickroll Craig. Kaelyn was giving a webinar and with Craig, and out of nowhere managed to get the king of the rickroll himself. As Craig said, one of my favorite moment of my life. The king of the rickroll himself, and you got him. So how did that's some pretty powerful stuff. How did that feel?
a little unreal. It was funny because Craig was, sitting there and he was on the phone. I'm like, oh no, did I break something? And he just looked so confused. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yes, that was such a powerful moment. I want to incorporate it as much as possible. Actually, I was like, oh, let me try to rickroll them today. But since you've talked about it,
you could have still done it. It would have been a good callback. That would have been a good callback. Oh man.
Wow.
Kaelyn,
Wow.
I'm gonna be back on this show, and y'all are gonna forget. And
we
right.
will.
Really
and we will have you back for sure.
You're right.
If you bring it up and you're like, this looks suspicious.
So now I'm just like, when is Kaelyn gonna rickroll? Now the suspense is on, because like I might blink one day and I'm like, wow, the rickroll, it's found me. And
or maybe it'll never come, and the whole time you'll just be, waiting for it.
Wow. But that's how it was though with Craig. Craig was just like, you never knew. Like, and the thing about it is like, Craig would be very serious with it, and like you're like, wow, I learned so much. And then you're like, do. I was like, what? Like out of nowhere.
Even Craig's water bottle has a phone number that rickrolls you. I mean, that's
so. So I love the, just like the playfulness, the building, the all the goodness. So it's a good reminder.
I mean, that's why I love working here. I mean, we can mix the serious with the silly, and it's still beautiful magic. Like,
I'm wondering, like, oh, what were you gonna say?
No, that is the fun of like being in a role where you get to demo stuff. Is like you can make a really silly demo that still shows some like really serious capabilities and technology and how to do some stuff. Like that's real, and I love that we have the ability to do that because it's so much more fun and so many more people see it if it's silly and it's funny and it's fun.
So I like that, and I guess I'm wondering too, like, what have been some of your favorite recent builds, Kaelyn?
Ooh. That's a really good question. I think I've left the building space a little bit to focus more on implementing, Twilio's products, especially voice intelligence with all of its new features and capabilities that are coming out. So like, how to use AI to sort of do call summarizations, how to understand the tone of customers. So I can't really say I've built projects with it, but, implementing and seeing just how far I can go, how we can use technology to make or enhance conversations to make experiences better for customers. I mean, that's been my main focus right now. So maybe not so much the creation, but I don't know if iteration would be the right word in this case, but just making use of what we already have, because I don't know, I want to like hone in on what we have for expanding and creating new things. I don't know, it's like a cycle of your creative process, Sometimes you're creating, sometimes you're, just working with where you're at. And that's sort of where I'm at. There's so much new technology nowadays. I'm right now just trying to absorb everything and see how we can make, beautiful content with it, how we can make the world a better place, how can we make customer interactions more personable and less frustrating for everyone.
No, I love that.
But speaking of new technology, I think, have you been traveling to some of these conferences with rotary phones, though? Didn't you make a demo with a rotary phone at some point?
Maybe. That's the funniest thing to carry in your bag, too, because going to TSA, they're just like, excuse me, you need to unpack your bag. What is this? Is this like a ring camera? Like, what is... It's a rotary phone, and sometimes you get, younger TSA agents, less Gen Z, and they're like, what's a rotary phone? That's the best. Like, what's this big bell in your bag? So like I love bringing my rotary phone places. I love mixing the old with the new, bringing VoIP calls and voice intelligence, like, hey, we just transcribed your entire call, summarized it, told you a fun fact, and we did it with this piece of machinery that was made in the 70s.
That is hilarious. I think I'm just getting the visuals of like, you carrying this phone around. It's like, Chef right in the chat of just like, the microphones are always like, because it's like so intense. And you're like, why are you're carrying all these things? But I'm just thinking about like this phone, and it's like, how do you explain? So it's like, wait, you're expanding this technology, but you're going back in the past to use a rotary phone. Okay.
I love it, because even the older people, they're like, my mom used to have one of these. Yeah, go ahead. Young blood. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
No, watch. Next thing you know, though, it's going to be the new staple. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a fashion like company like, yes, we have our new bag design, we call her the R. And it's like, it's just, I see it now. I see it already. I see it already. It's because like old things are new, and like things change pretty quickly. So no, I mean, I'm also okay. So you had mentioned kind of how easy it is to get started. Am I putting you on the spot? I might be, Kaelyn.
Let's do it.
But I would love for you to just kind of like walk us through kind of things you're excited about, features, like components to be on the lookout for. But if someone was just kind of getting acquainted, walk them through a little something.
Oh, should we dive into the voice SDK?
Oh, I think that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So I'll tell y'all a little bit about the voice SDK first.
We need your screen share. Kaelyn, we'll get that one.
I am getting that up.
There's been some funny stuff in the chat just already. Like, I love that idea of like, hey, do you guys have a phone jack I can plug into here?
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
Yes. And also, I do think the phone calls at the lounges of just like, hello. Like, too good. It runs it back. Like, too good. Okay, so let's see. All right, let's do this.
So the Voice React SDK is one of the newest features to come out of the programmable voice universe. So, we've already had the Voice Native SDK, but, that takes a long spin up time. Like, if you want to make an iOS app, you would have to know like Objective-C, you probably know Swift unless you're working with like some really old code. And then if you want to make like an Android app, you'd have to know Java. And then, that's too much. I think it's too much because I only know JavaScript. So it's a very biased opinion of mine. So they recently came out with the React Native SDK to sort of make that, what's the quote that React Native uses? Write once, use everywhere. Does that sound sort of familiar? Maybe?
Yeah. I don't know what their specific thing is, but the thing that I've always found amazing about React is like, you build it once and all of a sudden it can be a phone app, native or a web phone app. It can be a computer. Like you can just do everything with it.
You can do everything, and you only have to write it once in JavaScript. You don't have to worry about learning Swift or Kotlin to write these apps. You just write it once, and then it will render into those, the applicable devices native code. So I'm just going to show you guys in the docs where y'all can get started. I'm a little bit worried about time a little bit, just because, when I was setting up my app, I think it might have been around like 6 hours. But I'm not a front ender. Wow. I'm not a front ender. I'm a very slow, chill coder. Like I thought, maybe you could put on some lo-fi music and just like vibe and talk about our day, and also try to implement the React Native SDK into our systems. But let me at least show y'all where you can find the repository to get started, because if there's one thing I love about complicated systems is when they have a startup guide. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they have the GitHub repository, and kind of all you need to do is clone it and follow this step-by-step guide. If you're good at following steps. I don't know why I'm not good at following steps. I think, I can do it. I don't need to read instructions.
That's actually why I even though I'm on video a lot for like coding stuff, I don't like videos, because I like to just be able to jump to the little parts that I want to see. And I love having copy that I can code. So like having this all on a GitHub is perfect.
So this is sort of what the app looks like. I hate this. I hate to even say this out loud. I didn't get this far just yet.
Girl.
We can build this together.
It's an honest stream, okay? This stream has been very honest, so we're just gonna go.
I'm happy this is a safe space.
It is. We're just gonna go with it. I mean, because here's the thing, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, this is code. Move little bar.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, even someone who's like building it for the first time, I think this is an authentic what is the word? This is an authentic journey, right? Of someone who's just like navigating around. So I do think, like, as you're showing folks their way, like folks might come into the same kind of issues or being like, wait, what am I doing? So
yeah. So let's. You guys want to like start it from scratch? I don't know. Can
you clone the repo?
Lo-fi music? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start there. Git clone. Actually, do I already have this in here? All right, we're gonna go back to Git basics. If you want to clone something but you don't want to name it the same thing, you follow it with the name that you want to give it, right? Like,
I don't know. Type help git clone -- help, or type -- help here too.
That's okay. Git clone. All right, we're starting from scratch.
Synopsis. I'm looking on my screen here too for this, but
also my toxic trait is not reading the instructions and trying.
I love this.
This is so much.
I know it's a lot. I'm reading through it too, and I'm
not reading all of this. We're just gonna try. Git clone. All right, let's name it A/B testing app. All right. Okay. That was a good hunch.
Okay.
So now can we code A/B testing? No. Oh, come on.
Haters.
Oh, you don't? Yeah, I had this too, where like there's a command to run in. I just did this yesterday in Visual Studio to set up that code
every time. But I think I need to go to like my Z shell to add that so it stays forever.
Yeah.
Let's check out these readmes. Okay, so prerequisites. You have to know how to use voice. Good thing. Okay, I know how to use voice.
Check.
React Native development environment. Alex or Bianca, are either of y'all front enders?
I'm not. I specifically don't like that. Most of my time, if I'm being honest, was spent coding in C++, which doing front end in C++, people do it. It's not fun.
All right, Bianca.
I might need to brush up, but I might not be most hopeful here. I love how I said that in more like little polished tone. But yes. Okay, let's see what we're working with here. Anyone in chat? What we got?
And if y'all could read the chat to me, I'm new to streaming and.
Oh no, you're good.
Chat.
You're good.
You're good. We'll let you know when there's some action. Are there any of the things that you've like built before or I know you had mentioned that you'd done you had done a demo. You'd done a demo.
Did a demo.
Yes, you did a demo for within DevNet. So I would be curious to see kind of like what was that demo? Yeah, we can kind of walk through that one too.
It was definitely a back-end demo. I can say that for sure. I'm not a front-ender either.
Oh, good. We welcome everyone, Kaelyn. We are not like
yeah. And you know what? This guide is so easy. Anybody can follow it, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of text. Okay. What's the first thing that we should do anytime is install our dependencies. All right, go into the app and let's install everything that we need.
See, I love how we have singing singing guests. It's just a thing.
You want to harmonize?
Okay. Alex, I
Bianca gets sad because I don't get to sing with her.
What?
Kaelyn, can you make your font a little bigger for us? Just give us like a control plus.
Enhance.
There you go.
2 more?
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have our dependencies.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I think this is a good start.
Okay, we're making progress.
It's funny, I just did this last night because I was like, I need to remember how to do all this. And I'm already getting nervous. Okay, so we have our app dependencies. Now we just need our server dependencies. Let's circle back out. So what did y'all have for breakfast today?
Oh my gosh, I actually switched it up today. So today I did some boiled eggs but I had these like almost canned salmon. Like, I don't know, it's like wild canned salmon. It was a vibe.
From Costco?
No, from this place called like Fresh Market, which I used to go to back up in New York. But we had some wild canned salmon. No, I had some wild canned salmon, but I added some.
Was it wild?
So wow. Anywho, so it was now I'm scared to say wild canned salmon. I think I was very excited about the salmon. Okay, so I added some like mayo. I didn't put any kind of like pickle juice or things like that, but that was kind of how I switched it up. So I made almost like a instead of a tuna salad, a wild salmon salad. Okay. Anywho, and I digress. And then what did I have? I had my multivitamins, which is very important. Take your vitamins, kids and adults and older folks. And then
sorry, keep it together.
Alex, what are we working with? Okay, so actually, I want to make sure. I'm like, Kaelyn, how are we doing?
I have too many windows open.
Okay, that's real.
But it's going good. It's going good.
Okay. Do you wanna let the folks know like
I should talk out loud? Yes.
What have you done?
Let us know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So far, I've installed the dependencies, and the next thing I need to do is go into my env file and replace all of the sample code with the real deal.
Okay.
A little hint, we can stop sharing your screen when you do that, so you don't expose. As somebody who's multiple times exposed way
Let's
too
start
many
on the
credentials.
edge.
Yeah.
Here.
Wowzers. Wow. It's life on the wild side here, clearly.
Yeah.
Literally.
Let me see what I need.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone gets a vitamin. Alex, what did you have this morning?
I had a boring breakfast. I had just yogurt and some nuts, some raisins.
Okay.
Boring breakfast. Partially because tonight I'm hosting the second night of Passover at my house, and so I've been cooking a tremendous amount of food. I've got 7 pounds of brisket. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff too. So kind of saving the exciting meal for dinner tonight.
That sounds exciting.
That's intense.
Wow.
Awesome.
I have a smoker, and I really like to just go for it sometimes. I take on a lot more than I can chew with a lot of it.
Gotcha. Will there be that? Yeah, no, that sounds like delight. The brisket. Is it the green egg one, or is it like?
No, I have an electric smoker.
Okay.
Kaelyn, I'm wondering if, and I don't know this because I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's like 2 components to this app. There's an app and a server. I don't know if you need to like run in the app or the server folder specifically.
Right now, I'm trying to run the app just so I can get something on the screen right now.
Totally.
Just to see something, like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm an ethical coder. Like I'll just start and then read the errors and work on my back rooms. But, let's keep talking about vitamins.
Oh, you're good.
Did you take your vitamins this morning, Kaelyn?
I did, all of them.
Good.
Bianca, you'd be so proud. Okay. First error. Port's already in use. Okay. So we need to close that off. I know it's like LSOF. You people in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not good at this port stuff. I always end up asking people in the chat too. You could
OF dash I. Okay. LSOF I.
How many VS Code editors do you have? Craig has inquiries.
Just kill them.
Just kill them.
Kill all of them?
I mean, you could get rid of all your other VS Code editors that are open or your terminals.
Kill dash 9. 3 type 2. All right.
You got it.
Started.
Oh, yeah.
All right. NPM run start.
I know. The code violence.
56352. You got it. You got this.
Okay.
You're on there.
This is
sweet.
All right. We got part 1 running. We are running the app.
Okay.
Build no.
Okay.
Look at this long error message. Like my.
I do like the fun picture they put in there though.
This, right? This is nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I appreciate people who spend time to make the output and terminal look nice.
Shout out to Meta. Fun. I mean, they made it. I think that's pretty impressive, especially for such a busy app. I mean, Facebook is a pretty demanding app that I thought that they would have needed to write it in, the actual native iOS and native Android languages, just because it's so robust. Like, Lyft is written natively. Facebook uses.
But there's also the side of like, if they're creating the framework, is it just optimized for them and how they're doing things?
That's really true. That's a good point.
I feel like I remember a time when like it was when Twitch back in the day had put out Bootstrap, the like CSS framework, and every website looked the same because everybody was using Bootstrap CSS.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Bootstrap. Oh, the days of Bootstrap. That helped many a website.
I used it. I'm guilty.
It was it was straightforward. It was like, why change it up? No, that's so real though. Like just kind of everyone was just like was there. Same system, same structure.
Yeah.
It worked. It did its thing.
Kaelyn, I just want to tell you, I don't know if you know our history, but I think on A/B testing stream we've done 2 or 3 other build days. None of them have actually worked. So this is how we roll. I like to make mistakes and let everyone learn with me. You know, it's more fun that way. So I appreciate you keeping up the flow. But yeah, let us know what you're doing here. So you're looking up an error and trying to get through it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through it. I know that there's something on here that's like, hey, if you're having issues with iOS, because you know, iPhone gang, let's do iOS. There's like troubleshooting. All right, ports already in use. And so now I'm trying to find a solution for Cocoa pods, not creating the pod files just yet.
And you say your style is more so throw it on there and then we just
very much so just
answer the errors,
My job before I came to Twilio was like a professional debugger. So they would just give questions. Like I remember my first 2 weeks, COCOAPODS. Like first 2 weeks on the job, they were like, hey, so some people are getting double emails and we don't know why. Can you fix this? And I was like, I've been here for 2 weeks. I've had the code base for 1 week. You want me to just figure out why 10 people are getting double emails? And I did it. Because I love debugging. Okay.
No, that's cool.
That's a skill though, because like you can get so far with like knowing how to debug things. Like it's so hard. And just knowing like good debugging, you can get through stuff so fast. And like, I'm seeing you whiz through this right now and like, feels like pressure because you're on screen, but debugging's hard. Yeah.
It's fun.
That's real.
Bundle.
I also think it even kind of this aspect, you're not so focused on like, is this gonna work? But you're kind of focused on I can always find a way to make it work. And I do think when it's like, this has to work on the first try versus like, I just need to get this out of my, like, I just need to get this somewhere and organized and it'll figure itself out.
Yeah. Just keep reading the stack. There's my pods folder. Let's go. Okay. We're making process. Now we have our pods and our build folder.
Okay.
So we should be able to see it in this little app soon.
Ooh, okay.
So there should be another one here. So I made A/B testing so far. You can see how far that got. This is the furthest I've gotten with the app. So let's see it come to life.
Okay. We did have a question in chat. Why were there double emails?
Why were there? Oh my gosh. Wait. I think it was just a misuse of reusing the same code. So they called the same code that was like sending out emails in the same spot. It was very, very obscure. And I worked a lot with like security, I guess. Yeah, like the security of applications, because I was working for a smart device company. So it's like there were a lot of securities involved, and it was just one of those things, just old code.
Gotcha.
Missed edge cases. Run iOS.
It's so strange because I was just my last job before Twilio. The last thing that I worked on coding was actually Twilio. At a robotics company. Out of nowhere. Yeah.
Wow.
What a full circle.
Yeah. Was that email thing? Was that SendGrid?
It was not. I think it was MailChimp.
Okay. Well, that's the problem right there. No,
All right. So we are still building the app. So in the meantime, I'm going to start adding some of my environment variables, and if I could sort of have my screen hidden.
Yeah, we can pause the screen share for you here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Brent. Thank you.
Yep. We don't need.
This is always the fun part. It's always showing environmental variables, and I actually learned that there's a VS Code plugin you can get called Cloak, which will hide them for you.
Really?
But then you can't see them either. So like you got to set
Oh.
up and cloak them.
I was like, well.
It's because I remember chatting with Dom before he went on stream last Thursday, and he's like, I hope I don't expose, or he made a comment about like our update management software at Twilio, like throwing pop-ups during stream. And the last time it threw a pop-up for me during stream, it caused my credentials to be exposed. And so I was like, be careful.
That was, yeah, we did have that stream last week.
Yeah.
If you missed it, you should watch it. I'm gonna throw that in chat too.
Where can they find, pre-had episodes?
They're all on YouTube, and I think they might be on Twitch too, but all of our last episodes are on YouTube there.
Yeah.
Okay, Brent, I've added my stuffs. You can see my screen again.
The voice.
And hopefully this is helpful to anybody who is starting this up. There are a lot of very teeny tiny errors that you can run into when you're setting up your React Native app. So much so that I had to bookmark one because I couldn't believe just how small of an issue it was. And of course, I have way too many saved things. What is the website called where you can ask questions about code?
Stack Overflow?
Yes.
Thank you.
I love it.
It was a Stack Overflow question. Ha! I don't know why it's in personal development, but okay.
Hey, balance.
Can I share this link with y'all? Because this is, I don't know, it's so important and so just ridiculous.
If you drop it to one of us in Slack, we can share it out.
Yep.
No, Slack. Hi.
Windows, it's back, Kaelyn. Oh, it's not. Okay, you're good. Sorry, I'm looking at two different screens here.
Okay.
And I guess if you could walk us through kind of what were you seeing? Why you feel like this is a good tool for folks?
Why React Native is a good tool? Or
no, the what is it? The
Stack Overflow?
Yeah, the Stack Overflow webpage. Like that, why did you bookmark it? So definitely kind of
it was such a small error that is an issue of one of the dependencies.
Okay.
It's not like an error that you do. So it's an issue of there's multiple matching destinations. There's an issue with the iPhone deployment target, the version numbers, and it has nothing to do with you, the user. It's just purely how the dependencies work with React Native. It's like one of those things that you can't sort of avoid. It's just one of the woes of coding.
Gotcha. So it's a good thing, just kind of a good thing to have in your back pocket. And I love how you had mentioned you might see tons of errors as you're
There's so many errors.
Yeah. So I think even just reminding people don't get surprised. And I think that is helpful, especially if someone's just going through a blog or a doc and watching this later. It might be a little tricky.
And don't be scared of errors. I mean, it seems like a lot, but I guarantee it's just one page with the same error multiple times.
Yeah. That happens so much where it's just walls of text. You're like, no, and it's one little you missed a semicolon. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to find this page, Flipper Transport Types.h, and that is somewhere in the pods folder. Maybe I should have had this a little bit maybe ready. But you know, what's one of our magic values? No shenanigans. This is
Yeah.
a real deal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is
This-
we're doing this, and also this is the beautiful thing about all these just streaming, right? Which is we're leaning into doing it live, not we have a vision, but sometimes it might not go according to plan.
So
One day
oh,
I'm gonna do a demo on stream and it's gonna work. The very first demo I did on stream, my computer made me reinstall Xcode, and so I was sitting there with Chris on stream and then Brent in chat talking about the proper way to order a Philly cheesesteak for like an hour while my computer reinstalled Xcode. Which is when you find out who your friends are, right? Who sticks with you when things aren't working and talks about food.
Okay, did you have some good takeaways with the Philly cheesesteak?
Yeah, Chef Brent does not think peppers belong on a Philly cheesesteak.
Whoa.
Are y'all gonna make me come off a mute like this? Seriously, I didn't add the voice of Brent is coming through thing, but like, come on. Listen, are we talking about a cheesesteak that you would order in Philly, or what the rest of the country thinks a Philly cheesesteak is? For starters, we don't say Philly cheesesteak because it's just a cheesesteak.
It's just a cheesesteak
that you get in Philly, right? So like,
Whoa.
the big telltale example that you're about to get something from somebody that's never been to Philly and doesn't know what a Philly cheesesteak is it'll say Philly cheesesteak, and it's usually like Philly cheesesteak something else that's not a cheesesteak, right? So it's like Philly cheesesteak macaroni and cheese, and it's like okay, no, that's not a thing. Or like Philly cheesesteak dumplings. I don't know. We do that.
Yeah.
We do that stuff here too. We do Philly cheesesteak egg rolls, but they're also done correctly here, right? So
which means no peppers, right?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The classic cheesesteak sandwich is a roll, steak, ribeye. It's sliced ribeye. The best places it's fresh. And like my favorite place has a meat slicer in the window. So like on a busy summer day, you walk into Sonny's, and they're like, if they're busy enough, they will take this big thick ribeye and slice it like right in front of you and take it over to the grill. It's the best thing ever. Anyways, roll, steak. Do you want onions or not? And most places that is wit or without. There's no H in that at all. And those are like grilled, like fried onions, like on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
And then what kind of cheese do you want? So when you go to order it, you'll say the name of the cheese, and then wit or without. So if you're getting cheese whiz, which by the way is a canonical topping, most people it's a contentious one, right? But that would be whiz wit or whiz without. And then you've got American is another classic cheese. And then provolone's another classic cheese. But it's steak, cheese, and onions. That is the canonical. You can get peppers and mushrooms and all that stuff a lot of places. Some places you can get sauce. Some people will call that a pizza steak. But like this is like pizza sauce. Pizza sauce.
Oh.
But it's a very simple sandwich. Wow. So when you see things that are Philly style on the internet, they always have bell peppers. But bell peppers are like the biggest tell that someone's never had an actual cheesesteak in Philly, because that's not a topping here. Anyways, I digress. I'm gonna get out of here, but you trigger my trap card.
Can we hear like what you would say to the counter to order your Philly cheesesteak? Like all the fixings.
Oh, for me? For what I would get?
What's your order?
I get American wit most places because the onions are fantastic. And like American cheese, they often use a cheese called Cooper Sharp here. And Cooper Sharp's delicious, so that's what I normally go for. I get whiz every now and then, and then provolone's awesome too. Provolone's great.
So wow, we're just learning.
I love that. You know what that actually reminded me of, because I was thinking about like growing up in Chicago, like the Chicago staples, and like deep dish pizza, like you still have to order deep dish pizza, and it's a thing and whatever. But when you get a hot dog in Chicago, yeah, you don't be like, I want a loaded Chicago style hot dog. You just order a hot dog and they put all the right things on it, including no mustard. An Italian beef, or sorry, no ketchup on hot dogs. Yes, mustard. Italian beef in Chicago too, which is kind of like the Philly cheesesteak thing, is the best. And they basically have they make the sandwich, and you can get peppers on that one too. That's appropriate. They put the beef in, and it's like the French roll, and they take the whole thing and dip the whole thing into the like where the beef is marinating, and so the whole thing is just like dripping with beef juice, and it is so tasty. And yes, Robertables, I do like my Chicago dog, which has everything on it, including sport peppers, celery salt, tomato, mustard, relish, onions. I'm all for the salad on a hot dog. I gotta get my greens. You know?
The Chicago dog is definitely a salad. If we're being real, it's definitely a salad.
Wow.
There's almost as much stuff that's not the hot dog on a Chicago dog as there is the hot dog itself.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot about each other today. So, okay.
I have food
We're both passionate about our hometown food.
I have food opinions.
I feel it. Okay, Kaelyn. So I saw some movement. We saw some movement there. Can you like catch us up? What's been happening? What are you doing?
Absolutely. So this is going a lot faster than last night. I can say that for sure. But we have successfully built the app. So yay!
Oh my gosh.
We can see Twilio, and now we need to log in with Auth0.
Okay.
But the funny thing is I don't remember my Auth0 password. So I'm trying to log in with Google.
Okay.
So
there's also you also need to like set up an Auth0 thing. I don't know if you've done that or not.
I did, but that was all like environment variables, and you know what? Let's show the crew how we get down with Auth0. Auth0.
Auth0.
Yeah, there's in the GitHub repo, there's some documentation about how to set up Auth0 too. So that is real.
Auth0. Okta. Oh, Okta.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm suffering from
Am I behind on the news? Is one acquired by the other that I'm not aware of with Auth0 and Okta?
That one's been a while.
Okta is the parent. It's like the parent company.
The parent company.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate Auth0's social, like their like media. They've done some good videos where they like walk on. They're like, wait, how do we pronounce it again? Auth0? What?
I mean, even Twilio sometimes is like the longest Twilio, or like the best is just all the variations of when you're like Twilio. They're
you guys do real estate, right?
What'd you say?
You guys do real estate stuff, right?
Oh gosh. Oh, because Trulia, because they're like they think it's Trulia. Yeah. Twilio. Yeah, Twilio that's another because sometimes they'll stay too long on the TW, and then it's just like they give up for the rest. And I've just noticed that like it'll very interesting.
Getting some news, yeah. Sorry, I'm just making things pop up when I shouldn't. Yeah.
All good. Okay, so we got
too much power that our producer gave me to show people's
Is this what you do with your power, Alex? We're talking about
with great power comes great responsibility in chat.
Okay, so all right, so you're back. We're back.
We are back in Auth0, and so the instructions in the repo ask us to create a native application. So wham, bam, we make it. And then it comes with some settings, and these settings are all my environment variables. So you can go ahead and like copy and paste that into your environment, and then same thing with the APIs. It comes with, some API secret details that you need to include also in the environment variables. But the cool thing about it is that in the example that they give for each, I'll show the server because I don't think I've added my environment variables just yet. So in the example env, they tell you exactly what you need and where you can find it. So you need to replace, example env to just regular .env and make sure to include all of your account information. So everything is where it needs to be. They have the services in the applicable folders that are looking towards your environment variables to grab all that information. So it's very straightforward and easy to get started, especially if you read the instructions.
Yeah, I appreciate a good example.env file. I feel like it goes a long way to just making life a little easier for us all.
Yeah. Even things that, you may not need, like, if you want to have push notifications whenever you have an incoming call, like you can do your Fire FCM. Is that Firebase?
I don't know.
APN, FCM? Chat, do you know?
Oh, Firebase. Like, so many of these companies are like, are they still here? It's just.
But I am
running hitting home. All my homies hate undocumented env files, which I agree with. It'd be nice to say, like, where do you go to find this thing? Yeah. Got a good documentation. So helpful.
Mm-hmm.
This is some good documentation, because right now I can read the logs and say, hey, I'm not getting my access token. I'm getting a network request failed. Woo!
Always fun.
Always freaking fun. Okay. Where is this?
One trick that I've used sometimes whenever I'm building a demo from scratch is make a repo and like get the basics there and then have a working branch. So if I'm like, well, this doesn't work, quick switch to the other branch. Works now.
No, that reminds. Yeah, I think there was one thing. You're like, and all right, nope. Well, yes, this isn't working. So let's go here. That was a good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that right about now.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it is. I mean, Kaelyn, it's your first stream.
Yeah. It's my first week.
No, not week. First stream.
Stream.
Yeah, because you said you haven't done streams. I was like, no, it's not your first week. Let's see. You got Dom. Dom made a thing.
Dom makes lots of things, and they're always great.
Yeah. Let's see.
So I'm getting a get access token issue, which is inside voice.
Oh yeah. In the I'll send this to you in case, because you might not be able to see it on the Slackers.
On the Slackers.
Yes.
So yeah, what Craig shared there is a tool that will read .env files and prompt for values for each variable that have comment headers above it, so that it'll actually work, which is cool.
So yeah, send that to you in the Slacks. So you might not be able to see it.
I don't know if that would be helpful here. I think that
general.
would just be like a general, like helpful thing.
Yeah.
For people
It's a
coming in
general
the future.
thing.
Yeah.
Adding it to your arsenal.
Dom's such an amazing coworker. He at one point I was like, hey, I want to make something have a quick install. How do I go about doing that? And he's like, give me 15 minutes. Just like, what? And then he made a PR on my repo and like just did it because he knew what he was doing. And I just, when people are helpful like that, and it's something that he's done a million times and I've never had to do before, it's just so nice. I really appreciate that. Yeah. As Craig mentioned, Dom's code basically makes your .env.example like a first-class citizen. So it's something that if you have, it's not just there because you're nice. It's something that's more, valuable and actually like works in your code.
Okay, I found my issue at least.
Woo!
The wrong folder. I'm looking at the app folder, and this is a server issue.
Classic.
Baby steps.
Classic. Okay. I changed the wrong file, or I forgot to save. That's a good one.
At least I know where the error is coming from.
Yeah.
So that's a good start. Oh, but you know what would also be really important if I'm working in the server file, I should probably have my auth 0 information in here.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you need us to pause the screen share for you again to put it in?
Yes, please.
Cool.
You gotcha.
Do that.
All right. Hello.
Hello, Scorch Marked.
What's
Yeah,
up?
you joined just as things were burning. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. We're doing great here. But yeah, so Kaelyn's been going through and giving us a little demo of the React Native SDK for voice, which is one of those things that if you're a React developer, I'm sure is just like the easiest thing you've ever seen. And if you're one of us who doesn't normally develop in React, you're like, okay, this is a little bit more brain power than than I need while I'm also working on stream. Because it changes, right? You have to be here, you have to be present, chatting. You got us to cover for you, Kaelyn, while you look at things, but it's a different use of your brain. It's like two things at once. Yeah.
But it's also
go ahead.
No, you go.
You go. It reminds me of there's some people who do improv musicals and like improv singing, and that's always the wildest to me because they'll be like getting in harmony together and like singing choruses together on improvised songs, and you're just like, this is wild. But there's just some tricks, I guess. I don't know enough about music to know, but I've watched people doing it with friends who are musical, and they would tell me about how like there's some tricks about like progressions and things that they use to make it more clear. But it's the same thing. It's like, I don't know how you possibly like not only do improv but sing it at the same time. It's wild. It's like coding live coding's like that a little bit, right? You're not just coding, you're also chatting.
This whole like sing on a stream thing. Do we have like the stream musical? I know we've done brackets with programming languages. Do we now?
Now we need a coding themed musical on stream.
Oh my gosh. Very like I think we might be onto something.
This sounds like either the best idea in the world or an absolute train wreck, and I'm not even sure which, and I'm not even sure that the train wreck makes it bad. Like that might make it better.
I'm just saying it is very intriguing, and I'm just saying like this could be a thing. We can gather our friends around the stream worlds and we'll just, this could be a thing. All right, great.
That would be wild if we could get that done. I'm in.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, I too am. I'd be down for this programming musical.
Yeah.
I wonder we could. Yeah, this is great. We're just gonna propose it to the squadron. Great. I see the vision. I think I'm just thinking in my head of just like, oh my gosh, like the day that we actually make it live, we'll be like, what were we thinking? Like no one was supposed to take us serious. But yeah, so
sometimes that's the best ideas though, the ones that you're not supposed to take serious, that just kind of happen and are silly.
That's
right.
Real.
Like we get to do silly demos.
That's true. Those are good points.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good points.
Who knows? Maybe there's an AI component that'll make our lives easier for it too.
That's real. That's real. And then we just sing that maybe that is part of the thing. We asked the tools to make a musical for us.
Yeah. What we're rethinking is how all the great successes started.
That is real.
Yeah, we also got to make sure we're using our power responsibly.
To make musicals. Yeah, like we're leveraging our. I think it's so funny because it's like, can't believe you made this app with these skills. Yes, because balance. Okay, like yes, my skills can be used for programming musicals and other things. So yeah, Kaelyn, do you want us to pull you back on the stream screen?
Are you ready for the screen share? There you go.
I am ready for this.
Okay.
Yeah. But also, I don't mind if people see my credentials at the moment because they're not doing the credential thing. They're
not working for me, so maybe if I share them, work for you.
Maybe y'all can take matters into your own hands.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Do you guys take part 2 streams? Is there a way?
Ooh, we could. We
Sure.
could. So you can. We will always welcome you back.
7 minutes. I'm not sure if this is gonna come together.
That's okay.
And it might not.
The last stream that we did where I built something at halfway, like with like 20, 30 minutes to go, I was literally just like, this isn't working. We're gonna move on and try something different. So yeah, let's keep plugging away until because we got some more time. But that happens, and I think that's okay because look, if development worked the first time every time, it wouldn't be that exciting of a thing, and wouldn't take as much skill as it does for all of us to get out there and code, and as much we wouldn't have Kaelyn, your previous job as a professional.
I know. I didn't have a job.
We wouldn't have that.
It also is just like these things take time. Like we can't continue to 1 hour of just building. So, oh my gosh, did Craig make the song? Moment of truth. I don't know, Craig.
Not a rickroll.
Not a rickroll.
That
is something somebody who just rickrolled you would say.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't played it yet. In a world of data and numbers so grand.
But it is Suno, so like my hunch is it's going to be something different.
No, it's good. It's basically I love it. I like where we're going. A/B testing. It's the test of our lives. Finding the perfect design that survive. Okay, I need to see how they're because this is my rendition. So like we'll hear the official rendition. Okay. Okay, I like this. We'll
we can make it happen for sure.
Oh, you did musical theater version? Because I'm like on the A, because like with musical theater, it's like starts off like undramatic. When I walk through the streets and all I saw, and then they're like, but I went on, and then it's like choo choo, and then okay, great. Okay, back to what you're building. Back to the builds.
No, you can go back to singing.
No, you can sing. You can just sing.
So yeah, I feel like with the theater, like theater to me gives like very like they have to drum it up, right? And then they're like they pull you in, and then when they pull you in, you're like, whoa, where did I go? And it's like you're still here, but the music took you everywhere. So okay, this will be great. So like we have tunes. Is this the first official A/B testing musical song? Like
it
wow.
might be.
Wow.
It might be.
We're making history.
Yeah. So I think for the next stream, this is a great example of the Suno AI. You can kind of make songs. I want to pull some different AI tools and have us use them to make fun things for the stream on stream. And Suno is definitely going to be one of them. So we'll get to play. I think next week we'll play with this one a little more. But yeah, Brent,
I'm gonna see if I can play this in such a way that stream and y'all can hear it. So bear with me for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the easy buttons for all of that, but I'm making it work here. I should have it just a second. So bear with me for just a sec. Let me try this. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Waiting patiently.
The test of our lives seems.
I feel like I'll do any of the talking parts in the songs. Like sometimes there's.
Where Alex and Bianca took a stand, they needed breakthrough. A new strategy to make their website shine oh so brightly. Tried different colors, buttons and fonts, testing and tweaking while the day was still young. They laughed and they cried. Oh, what a size,
Yo.
but they knew in their hearts they had to get it right.
It is taking A/B testing kind of far here.
A testing, it's the test of our lives. Finding the perfect design that survives. Through the ups and the downs, we give it our all to make our website stand real tall.
This is the test of our lives, indeed.
Wow. I just
Y'all. Craig, thank
wow.
you so much, Craig.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
I shed a tear. I was taken on a journey, on a path, and this can sometimes be the test of our lives, but we stood tall.
This certainly is.
Ooh, wow. I
It's
might
there.
be crying.
Yeah, that was lovely.
That
and
was.
Thank you, Craig.
I'm so
Okay.
excited to see this working, Kaelyn, at some point.
I'm excited too.
And
Okay, so where are
more
we leaving off?
importantly, we just had such good conversation,
We did.
and I really appreciate that. Thanks for chatting with us today.
I agree. So where are we leaving off? Just so
All
we
right.
know.
We are leaving off trying to find the access token
Okay.
whenever a user logs in with auth0.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. So we're in a good
Starting point. That's
Yeah.
it's a good we're in a good space, and this is
Legit.
great because Kaelyn will come back again and we'll kind of run through this. But yes, thank you so much, Kaelyn, for hanging out with us. It was really great. Kind of you asked us questions, today. Like I was like, oh, I didn't think about this. So that was pretty exciting. And then also I think just even starting to give us an introduction to the power of voice, and I think the ways that folks can start to incorporate that into their work. So I love that we kind of started to get our feet wet just even with the concept of voice, and I'm excited for us to just even go deeper on like different demos, different applications, and getting people familiar with it.
Absolutely. We're here to help. We want to help developers get through this stuff. This could be really stressful, and let's evangelize and spread how we can help other developers. I'm mentally so tired.
That's true.
That's how it happens in stream. And we're so happy you joined us, and we're so excited for next week. Next week, Bianca and I will be back again, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will be playing with AI tools. So we're gonna pick some fun things that we find that AI. Suno's a great example of that, and we're gonna use them and make some stuff on stream, for stream, and learn a little bit on our own, and also show all of you some of the cool tools that we've found to make our lives easier and make some neat stuff with AI. So that'll be our stream next week that we are very excited for.
Sounds like an exciting stream, folks. And also thank you everyone who joined us in chat today. Thank you for our new musical productions. We had producer Craig, Pete Craig in the building. And we're just super excited to kind of have y'all join us each and every week. So tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see you again next Tuesday at 2. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you so much, Kaelyn, for sharing your story. And this is good. It's a good hang. The heart emojis. Oh,
is that for everybody? I think I have mine turned off. Who knows? All right.
wow.
How it worked?
Oh, thoughts. All right, y'all. It's for real. See ya.
Yeah.